I'm Ariel Cates. I'm the Director of Programming at Village Preservation. So glad that you're here. Just a little bit about Village Preservation. We have been documenting, celebrating, and fighting for the preservation of Greenwich Village, the East Village, and NoHo since 1980. We work to expand and extend landmark and zoning protections and stop inappropriate development while also encouraging appropriate development in our neighborhoods. We host roughly 75 programs a year, all of which are now virtual and most of which are free and open to the public. Our events are meant to illuminate the cultural and architectural heritage, history and depth, and the value of preservation, of small business, of the arts in our communities. We are a nonprofit membership-based organization, so your involvement and support mean the world to us. And you can learn more at villagepreservation.org. So this is quite a special evening because of the amazing people who have so generously given their time to be here with us this evening. Now more than ever, I think we need to hear from small businesses, support their shops, and learn their stories. I'm going to put many links into the chat and encourage everyone to support our friends this holiday season. So I am thrilled to welcome, and I'm gonna read these out in the order of how we're gonna go for the evening. So Exit 9, Gift Emporiums, Charles Branstool, Flower Powers, Lata Kennedy, Puerto Rico Importing Companies, Peter Longo, La Sirena's owner, Dina Leor, Left Bank Books co-owner, Erik DuRon, and Li-Lac Chocolates, Chris Taylor. Thank you all so much for taking this time. I'm really excited to hear your stories and hear what you have to say and how we can support you. So Charles, will you kick us off?
Sure.
Great.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me here, Ariel. My name's Charles Branstool. I'm with Exit 9 Gift Emporium. We have been around since 1995. So we've been here for a long time. We're an institution here in the East Village. We have another location out in Brooklyn. And for those of you who don't know, Exit 9 basically sells fun and curiosity. And we do that in the form of interesting gifts ranging from anything from funny socks to kitchen dish towels to expensive leather bags. We sell tons of cards. We're really kind of the go-to gift store for birthdays and holidays. And we've been doing this a long time. And Ariel, I'm not sure how much you want me to keep going, but that's pretty much our story. Our home base is right here in the East Village, and we love it here. And we hope that these last few months have been pretty challenging. Our hope is that we can stay, and that kind of remains to be seen, depending on how much trauma we continue to endure. But we've been doing the best we can to adapt, changing up our product to meet the demands, these new demands of masks, for example. We have recently, well, for the last several years, we have been pushing our whole local story. So we're a local business. We do what we can to plug into the local makers. So we have hot sauces made right in Brooklyn. We have chocolates made in Brooklyn. We have some truffle oils made in Queens. We have some jams made in Brooklyn. We have honey from upstate New York. So we have a lot of things locally here. So that's really what we want to try to push our customers to do. So far, our customers have been very supportive, and they know that we're in trouble. They want to buy local. They're telling us they're staying away from Amazon. So buying local products from a local store really just multiplies the money, just stays in our city and in our neighborhoods and in our state. So that's what we're going for. And we're sticking to that story.
That's amazing. Thanks so much. I'm curious just about how the last 8 months have been for you. I think you said that you are like a part of a business community. Like what have you been observing over the last few months?
Yeah, so ever since April, we have been having, well, we were having weekly Zooms there during the shutdown and even after the reopening. And then it kind of dwindled to about once a month. Anyway, we've had about like 15 Zooms with our local merchants. I serve on the board for IVIMA, the Independent East Village Independent Merchants Association. And we've basically just been forging our own hyper local recovery. So we've been, it ranges anywhere from like just giving place to people to talk, right? Sometimes giving merchants a shoulder to cry on, to giving them tools to help re-gear their business. We are introducing them to some public officials who are here on the Zoom with us to advocate for us. We've had some guest speakers from SBS on to kind of wade through all the PPP information and all the changes that was happening there as a way to kind of help us all have better understanding. Dina is on there every single Zoom. So we've been really forging that. A lot of people are, everybody's in the same boat and it's been quite challenging. Like I said, we've been able to adapt in certain ways. Restaurants, of course, are adapting by having outdoor seating. They're adapting by putting more energy into delivery services. Exit 9 has been adapting by changing up some of our product mix. Unfortunately, I haven't really seen any of this adaptation being enough. It's still not, it's not a sustainable model with the reduced foot traffic. It's bad. I'm not gonna lie. We're doing what we can to stay afloat, and Christmas is certainly going to help my business because the pressure of Christmas really brings people out to buy. But from the time we opened in June up until September, it was pretty low. Our sales were way down. November, for some reason, November was the first month that we outpaced last November. I think that people are aware that they need, and I think that they're really coming out and just doing it. And since they may not be traveling this holiday season, my theory is that they're shopping early so that they can ship it early so that they don't have to do last minute stuff. So I'm not expecting to see much of a last minute crowd. I'm sure there'll be some, but I think the customer's smart in shopping early.
Thanks. And do you have an online store also? Yes.
We do. It's shopexit9.com. We have it chocked full of stuff. You can spin around there and see what you like. We do have shop online and pick up in store. So you shop online at checkout, you can just pick it up and we'll have it all bagged up and ready to go. You don't even have to come inside for those of you who are afraid, or who still have health concerns. We can deliver it to the sidewalk. We have arrows on our floor to kind of like guide people through. We have hand sanitizer in a couple different locations in the store to really kind of keep people safe. We require masks. But yeah, tool around on the website. You can at least get an idea of what we have and then you can come in and shop. I'm really encouraging people to shop early because in years past, it can kind of get shoulder to shoulder in here, which will not be happening this year. I don't want to make people wait out in the cold, but I will. I'll make you wait out in the cold. So come in here and shop.
Thanks for that. Thanks so much. Lata, do you want to hop in?
Sure. I just want to say thanks, Ariel. This is really, hopefully, I mean, it's very kind of you already, but I'm looking forward to seeing, the response. Also, Charles, I love Exit 9. I mean, you're like our go-to gift store. We go there all the time, and our house is filled with tchotchkes from your shop. I appreciate that you're open still, thank goodness. Flower Power, we've been around since 93. On 9th Street, we've been around since 94. So, next year we'll be 28 years old. Wow. And the community that we serve, we love. And how are we doing? Definitely at least about half of what we were at last year, because we just cannot accommodate people inside the shop. I mean, all summer we were just having people pick up in front. And now we've opened it up so that 4 people with masks on can come in and use sanitizer at the door and get their stuff. So it's inhibited a lot of people, but it's cold outside now. Although people have been very understanding, it's still, it's limited our business. Also, we've had to have more people working because it's much more labor intensive to, we're dealing with packaging up little bags of herbs. And so behind the counter, we've had to have separate weigh stations that are 6 feet or more apart. So we're encouraging people to go online and shop online, and then they can either pick it up or we can mail it out to them. Our website is flowerpower.net. Our people are emailing us and picking up their orders too, which is really wonderful, because it gives us time to get it together, because putting herbal orders together is very labor intensive. Our email address is flowerpowererbs@gmail.com. We're at it, everybody who's at Flower Power, they're all studying herbalism, or they're already, honing their craft, serving the public. And they're here because they want to be there. A lot of our apprentices had to leave town because of the pandemic, but the ones who are here are local. They make a lot of the products, and they just plain want to help, serve the community. And it's very, very heartwarming to me, because they're into it. It's hard work, but we're all doing it. And it's not about the money for them, or anybody for that matter. But it's just being part of this community is really important to us. We very lucky to have landlord who was really kind. In fact, in March, when the pandemic really hit, I got a phone call from my landlord, and they never call me, and I was like, what? And he just said, how are you doing? How's your family? I just want to tell you that I hope you're safe, and we're going to forgive you April's rent. I was crying. I couldn't believe it. That was just like, nobody's ever done something so nice. So, it was a sweet gesture, and I'm very grateful. And the, people come in and ask us how we're doing, and people, because of all these things on Facebook now, everybody's making these lists of local businesses, and I'm surprised, but people are actually ordering. People who normally wouldn't use herbs are, ordering herbs, which is such a novel thing for a lot of people, because they want to give us business. I think it's really, really a good sign of a really kind community that we have. So I'm just so grateful, basically.
I'm so glad to hear that. I mean, I'm so curious. Have people been buying things from you specifically for the virus, or how does that work?
I'm not legally allowed to say like this works for this, but traditionally for centuries, herbs have been used and tried and true and empirically evidenced and safe. So yeah, we've been doing this for almost 30 years in the East Village, and herbalism is at a revival. That's for sure. Because when I started in 93, I was literally teaching classes every day because people were like, what is this? What's organic? But now I go into my shop and there's people who know already. Like there's schools of herbalism that have opened up. More herb shops have opened up. A lot of my old apprentices have herb shops, which is wonderful. I think that we're coming around to an herbal renaissance at a time when we absolutely need it. The earth absolutely needs it. Like herbal medicine is so much more sustainable, non-polluting, and good for the planet and everybody with fewer side effects. So I'm so gratified. I mean, given all this climate change and stuff, when you take over the counter prescriptions or medicines, when you pee it out, you're polluting the water, you're polluting the earth, right? I mean, look, get your water tested. But when you take herbal medicines and herbal teas and herbal tinctures and you pee that out, you're actually nourishing the planet, not just yourself. You're nourishing your whole thing. So
Amazing.
I love what we do. I think we're like, antioxidants, antivirals. As people, I identify with that.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. I mean, it's such important work, and it feels very ancient also in a way that
it is.
Yeah.
And we're lucky we have nurses that actually are working in the front line that work in the shop
Oh wow.
because they want a well-rounded education. We have doctors that come to our shop to get things to fortify their adrenals or their their nervous systems because they're overworked.
Yeah.
The frontline workers appreciate what we're doing, and we appreciate the frontline workers. I was just telling this two nurses that came into my shop the other day, what do you call a person who saves a life? A hero. What do you call a person who saves 100 lives? A nurse. And so we're so grateful. We're so grateful to be part of this whole community at this time.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. I am going to try to hand this over to Peter. Peter, are you with us?
You hear me?
Yes.
Can you guys? Oh, great. That's good. I was struggling. I'm not really, Zoom is not my forte, excuse me. Well, first of all, I want to thank Ariel and I want to thank everyone else for coming together for this. It's been kind of a weird year, and at Puerto Rico, we've been open since 1907 and seen a lot of ebbs and flows of the city. And this has definitely been what I would consider one of the stranger years, haha. And just for us, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the store, but we used to be kind of open and bustling, and now we have like a coffee cart we had made kind of pushed up to the front door. And our biggest imperative is like keeping coffee roasting and keeping our staff safe. So we used to be able to let 11 to 15 people in the store at a time. Now we're letting 2 people in the stores in the east and the west villages. And the main goal is just trying to keep the coffee moving. A lot of our customers are very, very local, and you read in the paper that a lot of people are leaving the city, and luckily here in Puerto Rico, we don't really see that because we have a very local east and west village customer base. So our hope is to just keep providing coffees and teas to the people that are still in the city, making this city great. We kind of reduced our hours, which in my opinion was kind of a big hit. As a coffee company, you want to be open early in the morning, 7 or 8, but with the staff we have, who we've been managed to do 9 o'clock to 5 p.m., and all in all, I think we're in a position where I'm just grateful that we have such a resilient and active, East and West Village community of people that are still coming in the shop. We do mail order, we do have a website, which is a little antiquated. Maybe with this, if the city stays the way it is, we may renovate the website, haha. But really, I'm just kind of happy. Like, we're a family business. Like, my brother works with me, my wife works with us. All of us, we're all working hard just to keep the coffee moving, and doing the best we can. So that's what I know.
Remind us who in your family started Puerto Rico?
So Puerto Rico actually has an interesting history. So the building 201 Bleecker Street actually used to have a wall in the middle. And on the left side, I guess the west side of the building, was Longo's Sanitary Bakery, my grandfather's bakery. And on the right side was Puerto Rico Importing Company. A gentleman named Patsy Albanese actually had Puerto Rico, and initially it was Italian specialty goods. The neighborhood was a little different, and there were things like dried mushrooms and Fernet Branca and a little bit of wacky stuff. And then in the 50s, my grandfather purchased Puerto Rico from him and took the wall down, and there was no more bakery. And then it became Puerto Rico, the coffee shop. And then my father, in 1973, he kind of really took it forward into the specialty coffee business, which brings us today where we're in the, the whole space, and we're really just a coffee roaster and a tea importer. So it's kind of gone through a whole slew of different incarnations and changes, and it's fun to have photographs of all the different stages of the store itself. And it's kind of been nice that we've been lucky enough that people like Puerto Rico enough in the West Village to keep patronizing it throughout all of its different incarnations, especially considering the newest one is a little strange, and that's really it. So I like to think we're a long-term company. I think Patsy opened it in 1907.
Wow.
And, and if you actually, interestingly enough, there is a poster store across the street diagonal on, I think it's, I don't even know what the number is, but it's a beautiful little poster shop. It's been there for a very, very long time, run by a very nice family. And at one point, Puerto Rico was in that location for maybe, I think, an 8-year stretch sometime in the 40s. So that's fun. You know what I mean? To be in the neighborhood and on the same block for a long period of time. And this year has been a little rough for us. Like, it was guided through the pandemic of 1918. Like, we went through the 2 world wars, and people were buying very, very small quantities of coffee. In the 70s, my father tells it, when the city was the way it was and there was a lot of abandoned buildings and things, people were buying ounces and quarter pounds of coffee, not half pounds and whole pounds and multiples of pounds. And it's interesting, again, like we've seen people go from buying exorbitant amounts of coffee to now people are buying what they use in a week, and they're taking it home, and it's a lot more local of a customer base, which we're more than happy to cater to. We have a lot of like firefighters and various other people that shop in the store, and we do distribute a little bit to some firehouses, which we're very happy to do recently because those guys are out there working hard. So we're just trying to keep the bean moving from New York, if you will.
That's amazing, and I love that there just is so much history of all of the different locations and all of the different iterations of Puerto Rico. Which,
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's part of the fun, right?
You can feel the history when you're in the store.
Thank you very much. We try hard to maintain that. Every once in a while, you get the kick that you want to rip it down and make it flashy and new. But I think there's a balance of keeping the history and staying cutting edge. That's all you can try.
You're doing a good job.
Thank you. I think everyone in this group, I think, is doing a really good job. I shop at all these. I'm seeing at Li-Lac, Flower Power, Emporium 9, like the whole slew. I can see products in my kitchen. Like I think we should all pat ourselves on the back that we've toughed it out. You know what I mean? It's been a weird year.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. So grateful for that, and that you are all toughing it out. Erik, shall we turn this over to you?
Sure. Hi, I'm Erik DuRon. I'm a co-owner of Left Bank Books with my business partner, Jess Kuronen, who's not here right now. I'm in the shop right now. We're at 41 Perry Street between Waverly Place and West 4th Street, or between 7th Avenue and West 4th Street, where Waverly and 7th come together. Quiet residential street. We're one of 2 storefronts on the block, but lots of great restaurants on West 4th Street, just around the corner from us, and of course on 7th Avenue. I'm going to give you a quick spin around the shop since it's so small. So we're a very small specialty bookshop in used, vintage, and rare books, in literature and the arts. So we handle books in fields of literature, art, photography, film, fashion, design, architecture, music, theater, dance, performance, some children's books. Very eclectic, but very small and tightly curated, and with a wide range of prices, from inexpensive paperbacks, vintage reading copies of classic books or just great books, contemporary and early, for $6, $8, $10. Pulp fiction from the 1940s, 50s, and 60s with great lurid cover art. Those might be $10 or $15. But then we also do literary first editions, art monographs, things of that nature that might be $50, $75, $100, and then rarities, first editions, rare books, things that might be signed or inscribed by the author or the photographer or the artist. And those might be in the mid to upper hundreds or even in the thousands of dollars. So within a very tight space and a tightly curated inventory, as I say, it's very eclectic with a wide range of prices. We really want to have something for everybody, everybody who's interested in the places. And we don't organize things on the shelves. We really put things up for browsing and discovery. The inventory is sort of compact enough that if somebody's really curious and engaged and they spend 15 minutes, they'll get a real feel for everything we have. We also do, I'll just show you quickly, descriptive cataloging on all of our books. So this is a first edition of a novel by Leonard Cohen from the 1960s. And we do sort of a write-up on our stationery that'll talk about what edition it is, what the publication history of the book is, maybe give a quote from it, why it's interesting, why it's collectible, and a little condition report. So every book is sort of contextualized and treated as a cultural artifact, with an emphasis on the material history. And that's true across the board for the books that we handle. They, we're guided by our own taste, things that we like. We're in New York, Greenwich Village business, so we have a downtown sensibility, a bohemian sensibility. Most of our books are from the 20th century. We have some antiquarian books going as far back as the 1700s and the 1800s, and some books that are more contemporary, maybe some artist books from the 21st century, but largely from the 20th century, largely pre-digital, but still a strong emphasis on on visuals, on the marriage of image and text, and the way that the book is sort of uniquely suited as a technology to convey image and text in a sort of tactile way. So it's all, it's typography, it's design, it's illustration, of course, content, and the materials that go to making up a book. So that's us, that's Left Bank. The business we've been here for 1.5 years in this location under this ownership. Many of you are probably familiar with Left Bank as sort of a neighborhood institution. It had been a kind of a neighborhood used bookshop going back to the early 90s. Over the course of its existence, there have been 4 ownership teams with a 4th ownership team, and it's been in 3 locations. So this Perry Street location is the 3rd and smallest location. It went out of business completely in 2016. Jess and I worked there for the 3rd owner, and it was kind of a really sad moment in the neighborhood when it closed, and a lot of people were really, kind of mournful about it. And I had worked in rare and antiquarian bookselling prior to coming to Left Bank, and Jess and I, had the idea of revitalizing it. And each time it's been the baton has passed. It's been sort of reimagined in the image of the new owners. So we have really distilled it down, and just taken a little more care with the selection and with the presentation of the material. We want it to be special. We want it to be sort of an immersive environment, almost like a gallery for books. That's not for everybody. It might seem precious to some people, but in changing times, changing city, the wholesale move to digital culture. It's harder for bookshops to endure in the city, especially small specialty shops or used bookshops, especially, if your price point is $5 or $10, that's not really a sustainable or viable business model any longer. New York used to have so many great used bookshops, and there's just been this decimation of that over the last 20 odd years. The internet, Amazon, but also the big box stores, as everybody knows, have really driven a lot of these places out of business. So, we want to, our mission is somewhat conservative in the literal sense, to conserve and preserve this material and pass it forward to the next generation of book lovers. It's one of stewardship and one of surfacing things that might be forgotten or overlooked, or broadly loved, and sharing that. And I'm really proud of the fact that we have a very diverse clientele, that we have a lot of young people that shop with us and are sort of rediscovering books. A lot of younger people that come in are unfamiliar with this kind of bookshop and have never been in a bookshop like this before. So it feels, that's rewarding. And we feel very much sort of integral to our community. A lot of our books we source locally from, the Village obviously is an extremely literate neighborhood. It's very culturally literate, and we buy a lot of books from folks locally. I made a house call today and bought books from somebody just 2 blocks away on Bank Street. The person had passed away, but he was an actor, an older gay actor who had lived in the neighborhood for decades, and had just a wonderful collection of books that was very distinctive. And so that's what we do. We have a website, and my partner is a graphic designer. Jess is a graphic designer, so she does a really beautiful job with our website. It's fully commerce enabled, so people can order online. We have an email list. People can sign up directly through our website, which should be linked in the chat. It's leftbankbooksny.com. We're also very active on social media. We don't eschew digital. We want to leverage it, and incorporate it into what we do. So we do email blasts every couple of weeks with new arrivals, and right now, in terms of like what we can do now, we've had, like everybody, a hard pandemic. I mean, some people have had it very hard. We've been very lucky, knock wood, just in terms of our family and friend base. But business-wise, we've had a difficult pandemic. We did get some PPP money, and we're trying to figure out forgiveness on that now. We have a loyal customer base that has followed us, and early on shopped with us a lot online, and that made up it made up for some of the loss. Maintained us at about half of what our business had been up to that point. We're a young business still in this iteration, so we don't have a lot to compare it to. But we're managing. I mean, we're holding our own, and rather than sort of sitting passively and wringing our hands, we are trying to do everything that we can in terms of marketing with digital catalogs, with email blasts, on social media. And right now, I'll just show you very quickly, we're doing an exhibit, or an event, I should say, in the space next door. It's a vacant storefront. It was a casualty of Corona. It was a shoe shop, Noah Waxman shoe shop. Unfortunately, did not reopen, left a vacant storefront, but we were able to negotiate with the landlord to let us use it for December, and we've called it the store next door, and it's a series of pop-ups. It's 3 one-week pop-ups, so 3 weeks, where we have different booksellers and vendors that will be taking over the space and kind of decking it out in their own image, and it's all very complementary material to what we do. Some crossover, some overlap, and then a lot of different stuff. But it's all books, posters, prints, magazines, textiles, original art. So great stuff for gifts, and details for that. I'll share a link in chat with the details specifically for that. But that's just open today and is going to be running for the next 3 weeks. And it's the same hours as the shop. It's every day but Tuesday when we're closed, and it's noon to 6. And in terms of precautions, you know, we're letting only 4 people into either space at a time, masks required. We have sanitizer in multiple locations. We have gloves available for people, latex gloves available, and we have masks available if people don't have them. But, you know, people have been, for the most part, very good about that. You know, and we keep the door open when we can for ventilation. So, you know, it's worked out so far since we reopened. This is a bit of an experiment, and we'll see how it goes.
I just love that you took us out onto Perry Street. It's so great. It's such a delight to see it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful street. We love it here. It's quiet, it's residential. There's not a huge amount of foot traffic, so we do rely a lot on word of mouth and referrals. But you know, a lot of, like I said, it's a literate neighborhood. A lot of great folks live in the neighborhood and shop with us. We rely on a regular customer base, repeat business from people. Obviously, we miss the tourists that used to come to the neighborhood. We met a lot of folks from out of town that way, and some of our best customers still are out of town who maybe only been in the shop once or twice, but now buy regularly from us through email, and we quote things to them, and we ship all over, you know, ship every day. We're shipping stuff out. So, but yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Oh,
for having us.
that's so great. Yeah. I am going to turn this over to Dina.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dina, and I have La Sirena. It's a Mexican folk art shop. And I feel like getting up and doing a hat dance or something. I don't sit very well at the computer, and I'm getting really antsy. I'm like, I love being here, but I gotta move. Anyhow, so I have La Sirena. It's a Mexican folk art store. I always say we because I work with a lot of artisans. And we started in 1999. Almost everything's handmade by artisans from all over Mexico. And I love what I do because I just love folk art and love supporting folk art, and love sharing about folk art when people come to visit the store. It's been challenging now because of the fact that we were closed like everybody for 5 months and are coming back. My store is 300 square feet, and usually 8 people could fit in very tightly. And right now it's usually like 2 people. But I'm really enjoying being back. I have amazing things for the holidays. Like, I don't know if you could see it. I had to turn my light down because my eyes were really bothering me. But this is like a little bird ornament. It's all hand beaded. And Ariel had said, if you want, bring some things to show and tell. So of course I did. I mainly brought these beaded ornaments because I was photographing them today. If you go to my Instagram, you could probably see them better. But this is a unicorn, and they're all hand beaded. They're like amazing. Which is
They're
my
so
face.
beautiful.
Thank you. This one's really funny. I couldn't resist. It's the funky chicken. You know, the chicken that when you squeeze it, it makes really weird noises. Well, this is a beaded they're actually keychains that you could use as ornaments. People use them as both. I actually even brought my Hanukkah menorah. So we have things for Hanukkah. We have things for Christmas. We have things for the home. We have beautiful pottery for serving, and we have really cool t-shirts. We're kind of famous for our unique t-shirts, and I don't know. I'm just happy to be here with all of you. I just want to say to Charles, because Charles leads the Avima group. And Avima, if you're not doing it, if you're one of the stores that aren't part of it, please come and join. We have such a good time. Even through the worst times, it would really brighten my day when we'd have one of our, meetings on the computer, on Zoom. And I learned how to do Zoom because of you guys. So, this here, I'm going to go back. Sorry, I'm a little scattered. I haven't been sleeping well, but this is a sun. It's real. And if you put these like near a window, it's amazing what happens with the sunlight. This is a clay ornament. Can you see them? Because if you can't, I don't have to keep showing them. It's so dark in my side.
I can see them.
Okay, cool. So this is like a little Peruvian angel in a moon. Oops, in a moon. So anyhow, so La Sirena has a lot of different things. It's filled with ornaments right now. It's filled with, I already said, with folk art. Everything's handmade. I don't know. I feel like I need, Ariel, can you ask me a question? Because my mind really kind of shut down at a certain point.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, do you want to tell us like how you found your space and what, I mean, it's
you have to come by. That's a long story. You have to come by for that one.
It's actually
like, I never even planned on having a store. It's like the universe showed me that I'm meant to have a store. And somebody was looking for a space for me, and they gave me the name of Cooper Square Mutual Housing, but they just gave me Cooper Square, and I ended up with it was a real estate company that she gave me, and I ended up with my landlord, and it was really a meant to be situation. And I'll just say, I will put a shout out that I feel very blessed that our management company has, like, I got some rent relief, and I'm still owing a lot of money because I have real estate tax that I didn't realize had caught up for about a year. And I'm like trying to pay that off now. And, wonderful people come to my store. I just love the people. I have an amazing assistant, Diana. She's really helpful. And I just do the best I can. I mean, to me, like, I'm grateful every day when I wake up. There's a lot of people that weren't waking up anymore. So I just feel very blessed that I'm here.
What are your hours?
We're open 12 to 6.
Okay.
And we're closed. Well, we might be open now every day after this week because of the holidays. We're hoping for like some, great customers to come daily, but we've been closed Tuesday and Wednesday. I'll probably be open every day next week. We'll see. If you're coming Tuesday or Wednesday, maybe call us.
Save me some unicorns.
I will. Aren't they fabulous? Oh my God, they all just arrived and I'm so excited about them. What I will say is that my block is not a really walked block. So if people don't plan on coming there, it can be a little bit, deserted, especially now. I mean, I don't know. There's a whole group of people that aren't here because they got moved out for the pandemic. And I'm kind of, bless them, but I'm glad they're not here. But it makes the block a lot more isolated. So I don't know what else. Come by and shop, come see us, come visit. We could dance. We were having dancing on the street every weekend. My friends would show up and do folkloric dancing. Every Saturday they would do a pop-up show, and we couldn't announce it because we didn't want that many people to show up. Like, you want 1,000 people to show up, but you can't really deal with that right now. So, and we do wear masks in the store. We have hand sanitizer at the door. People cannot come in without a mask and spraying. And I don't know, it's really colorful. If you go on our Instagram, you can see a lot of what we have. And I actually got to sell online because of the pandemic. I mean, now I have shopping pages, and I think they're up on the chat. So I think, Ariel, you did such a beautiful job. I just want to thank you. This has been really amazing.
Thanks.
And yeah, and
Thanks
I feel like
for
we
being
really,
here.
yeah, I feel like we really have created like a community out of this sad situation. I feel like people have come together. And New York, I mean, New York, just New Yorkers are amazing people. And I just feel so blessed to be part of the city. I mean, it's really a good place to be. If you have to be somewhere right now, this is a good place to be. So I don't know. I think that's all I have to say. Come by and say hola.
Thanks, Dina.
You're welcome.
So great. So grateful. All right, Chris, do you want to wrap us up with the chocolates?
Okay. I mean, you asked to share experiences of what this year was like. And, you know, if you want to talk financially or stress, I'm not going to say it's the best of years. It's quite the opposite. But I think I've also, I mean, maybe I was just a jaded New Yorker beforehand, but I have learned a lot this year about human nature. And most of it has actually been incredibly encouraging. It's, I mean, I never, if you'd asked me a year ago, will the community be this tight? I never would have predicted that, how people, you know, just came together. And I mean, psychologically, this has actually been an amazing year, or I'm not sure the right word, but it's been a karma year in a very positive way, strangely enough. So, I mean, you can complain about the stress, you can complain about the finances, because, you know, the absence of the tourism business is really hurting us. But it's been just an incredibly positive year. And, you know, the first time in March, a customer came into the store and she said, you know, I really don't want chocolate, but I just want to spend some money because I'm just hearing so many businesses are having trouble. And the first time you hear it, it's really nice. But after 5 or 10 people, I mean, this was not a one-time thing. And it just really gives you a positive feeling that really helped, incredibly helpful psychologically to get through all the stress. And, you know, we cut costs like crazy. And, you know, you don't feel, I mean, we went at one stage from 70 employees to less than 10 employees, and you just feel like, you know, whatever the word that you can't use. But I mean, you just feel really bad about what you're doing to your employees. And you know, rationally, you have no choice. I mean, you have to survive, but, you know, you feel really bad about it. And then in April, we started getting all these messages via the internet, and people would say on the messages to their family, like, you know, I'm sending you this chocolate because these guys, you know, helped this community organization I was involved. And then one guy said, well, 30 years ago, I organized an AIDS fundraiser, and these guys contributed all the chocolates for everybody. So now I want to order some chocolate from them to help keep them alive. And yeah, that just makes you feel, and I'm hearing other things from other similar things from other business owners too. It's just been an incredibly uplifting year psychologically to see all the community support. And, you know, we bought the business 9 years ago from Martha Bond, and she inherited the company from her brother. Her brother died of AIDS. And, you know, she told us when she bought the company is, you know, one thing Ed said to me when right before he died, and he told me he wanted me to take over the company. And I told him, I have no business sense. I don't know the first thing about bookkeeping or marketing or anything. And he said, you know, running this chocolate business is very simple. It's you take care of the community and the community will take care of you. And, you know, 9 years ago, I was probably just a jaded New Yorker. And I'm like, okay, that's nice. And we continue to support community groups. We probably do about 200 events a year where we contribute chocolate, whether it's a silent auction item or you know, if they have their annual events, we'll give the chocolates for the dessert. And, you know, it makes you feel good because you're in the grocery store and you bump into somebody who says thank you. And, you know, it's just nice to be part of the community. But I just never thought, and again, maybe I was before this too jaded. You know, I've been in New York for 30 years. I never thought that we would get it back in such a way. But I can't tell you during Easter how many people send gifts. And, you know, we read the message cards, you know, over the internet that just say, like, you know, these guys supported my events that I organized and now I want to support them. It's been a psychologically uplifting year. I know that's strange to say, but I mean, the internet business has kept us alive. I mean, the internet business right now is a logistical nightmare because our volumes are just way beyond the infrastructure that we've built. And, you know, we've hired a lot of inexperienced people. So every night you just sort of go to bed knowing that you've made some really dumb errors that's going to probably annoy some customers. And then, you know, with FedEx and UPS telling people that stuff is not going to get delivered on time. But I'm just incredibly grateful for, you know, the fact that we have the internet, and then a lot of customers are just saying, yeah, you know, I want to help you guys out. I never thought I would see that in New York. I don't know if other people feel the same way, but I'm just amazed at the support we have gotten from the community. And then what happened is Google and Jamestown, our landlords at Chelsea Market, called us. We didn't call them, and they said, you don't need to pay your rent in April. We're going to defer it for a month. And I mean, that was just, you know, an amazing gesture. And then, you know, all of our landlords in Manhattan have renegotiated our leases. We would not have survived without that. And so, you know, you can complain about landlords, and, you know, I've been in New York long enough. I love to complain about my landlord. But, you know, Chelsea Markets, Hudson Yards, you know, and our landlords on Greenwich and Bleecker Street have really stood up for us, and we wouldn't be around without them. So let's just acknowledge our landlords for once. And then at Grand Central, which is the MTA, Deb Glick and Brad Hoylman really went above and beyond. It wasn't just a token, let me help you out, but it was really, you know, Deb just really went to the mat, and then Brad took it over. And so, you know, I mean, again, we love to complain about politicians, but let's give those two guys some credit. Deborah Glick and Brad Hoylman saved us hundreds of thousands of dollars for all the tenants, not just for Li-Lac. So it's just been, yeah, you know, just amazing. And you know, I don't know how to, I'm not good at being a motive or anything, but, and like, you know, you guys, Ariel, the West Village Chamber of Commerce, I mean, people have really come out, not just a token like how you doing, can I help you, but really gone out of their way to help you. And, you know, A, the help is amazing, but B, psychologically, it really helps you get through an incredibly difficult year. And, you know, when you have payroll to meet every week and your rent book to meet every month, you know, it's just the I don't know the right words to use, but it's been incredibly uplifting to see how New York, you know, supposedly the jaded city and all that, has really pulled together. And so thank you, Ariel, for what you're doing. You know, thank you for our politicians, our landlords, the West Village Chamber of Commerce. It's all been, for me, this has been an amazing year.
Wow. I love to hear that. And so many of the questions that we've got from our community members have just been, you know, how can we get involved? How can we support small businesses? And so, I mean, I guess this might be my closing question for each of you, if you want to weigh in. You know, what do you see sort of the greatest needs are, and what, I mean, I love that you're all just sort of celebrating the community, which I think is such a it's such a beautiful thing, and it's such a testament to the neighborhoods in general. And I guess, you know, as we close out this year and reflect back on it, what would you want to ask folks? How, you know, in terms of supporting small business, what does that look like for you?
Well, let me answer. You know, we had 70 employees at Valentine's in February going into this. And I think right now we're back up to 45. But, you know, I mean, brutal to our employees. And it just, I mean, how do you sleep at night doing that? So, you know, you can talk about keeping businesses alive. You can talk about helping the business owners, but, you know, we have a payroll. And if we don't pay these guys every week, if we have to lay them off, you know, I mean, they're getting much harder hit than we are. I mean, I think all of us somehow or another will survive, but these guys, you know, they don't have big savings cushions and stuff to fall back on. So it's not just about helping me at Li-Lac or any other business. It's really making it possible for us to hire back our employees and, you know, give them, you know, the dignity of a job. And so, I mean, that's what for me has been the most stressful, is just laying people off. And again, logically, you know, you have to do it, but it's, you know, it doesn't make you feel good about yourself doing it. So it's, you know, if the community can help us bring our employees back to what it was, you know, in February. I don't know how other business owners feel about that, but that's the hardest part for me, is laying people off.
Thanks. Yeah, I don't know if anybody else is interested in sort of weighing in. Yeah, Charles, go for it.
Yeah, I agree with Chris. You know, obviously there's the buy local, support local. That's obviously a financial solution, is just to shop more locally, get off Amazon. But also I think just having a little, like, asking the community for understanding, because we're stressed out. Our staff is lower than it was before. It's not less work. It's the same amount of work. I'm experiencing supply chain issues. I'm worried that people are going to get upset that we don't have enough stuff for them at the holiday time. They're going to expect it, you know, so there's this whole level of just compassion that I think the consumer needs to have for the company and the people who work here. And I agree with Chris, it really is about the workers. So, you know, tip your delivery guy twice as much, or woman, sorry, person. You know, they're the ones who need help just as much as the companies do. Yeah, so I'm looking for compassion. That's what I'm asking for.
Thanks for that. Yeah.
Yeah, can I say that, you know, when we laid people off, you know, we had 4 or 5 vulnerable employees, elderly or pregnant, and we thought they were most at risk. So I said, let's lay them off. So our HR consultant said, no, that would be discriminatory. So, you know, we weren't allowed to, you know, for their own health, or actually we wanted to tell them to stay home at half price, but we weren't allowed to a half pay, but we weren't allowed to do that because that would be discriminatory. And then we had a couple of employees who we discovered weren't eligible for unemployment. Like one guy had a photography business on the side, and because he had a business on the side, he wouldn't get that $600 a week. So we tried to hire him back, but we were told that we were doing it in a discriminatory manner, that we had to recall the people ahead of him and blah, blah, blah. So we weren't able to help people or protect people the way we wanted to. And then, you know, quite a few people said, you know, I'm making more money now than I did working, but I just, psychologically or from a, I don't know, dignity perspective, I'd rather be working than making the money. But you couldn't play favorite. So it's, you know, as an employer, you want to do the right thing. I think most employers that I know want to do the right thing, but you know, circumstances made it very difficult to do the right thing. And, you know, and then we recalled people and we laid them off again in the middle of the summer. And I mean, so we've really been messing with people's lives, our employees' lives. And yeah, I do think as business owners, you feel obligations towards people. Maybe that's paternalistic or something, and it doesn't fit in the modern age, but that's how I feel about employees is you do have an obligation to treat them right. And sometimes you're just not able to do the right thing. I don't know if other people have experienced that.
Can I go?
Yeah.
Hi, so I only have 1 or 2 max employees at a time. It's a much smaller business. I'll say for myself, I don't have much of a cushion. I basically, my whole time of having my business, I do it because it's my passion and I love doing it. And I love helping support the artisans, which sometimes I realize I overdo. And then they have kind of, some of them have houses at the beach, you know, and I'm here like, and which is fine. I mean, that's great for them, you know. But I do it because I love it and I can't imagine doing anything else. So for me, like my thing is kind of some rent relief moving forward, or you know, because my feeling is that doesn't seem unfortunate this isn't going away today. And if I don't make enough to pay my rent, I basically probably won't be able to continue on. I also do think that just people coming out and shopping is a wonderful thing. I've been enjoying shopping right now more than I have in the past. I'm not much of a shopper except for Mexican folk art, but I do enjoy going and visiting people that I know that have businesses just to help support them and also just to get out and, you know, do something, you know, socially distancing, but at the same time, you know, getting to see people. And shopping online, I've been really, the one thing that I didn't say that I want to say is that I was surprised, like I'm getting people from all over the country, like shopping on my shopping pages. And I'm sending like these beautiful embroidered face masks, you know, from Chiapas, Mexico, out to like San Diego. And I'm like, well, they're right there, but they're ordering from me. Like, how cool is that? So there's been like really like kind of curious, interesting things happening. But I do think that rent relief, you know, I know a lot of people are trying to pass bills about it from what I've heard, and I'm always getting people to sign, could really help. I mean, I think a big part for me is the rent because that's what, you know, that's what I owe. So thanks again, everyone, and good to see you.
Thanks, Dina.
I'd like to add that in my shop, we have a apprenticeship. I mean, it's a paid apprenticeship. You know, we pay 15, whatever dollars an hour. I discovered when the pandemic hit that we went down from like 22 people to like 5. But and they were young people, so they all went home, and a lot of them probably made more money not working, and they had to go home back to, you know, Kansas or whatever, which is perfectly fine. And some of them just didn't feel comfortable working. That was fine too. But then the people that did show up, I was so grateful that they were showing up despite the fact that because they only work 2 days a week, they could have gotten $600, but they wanted to be in the front lines working, which was so gratifying. So, you know, normally we, I'm trying, like my priorities have completely shifted, and I'm looking at my business more as a, I really want to hook these people up. Like I eventually want to just have, because it's a passion for them to be the community herbalist. So like I'm grateful for this year only because it gave me a new perspective on what's more important. And this is not like what my new model is a totally different model. And I'm really grateful for that. It's because the people who are employed at Flower Power showed it to me. I don't even think they were thinking that. It just made me so impressed with what community means that it just blew my mind. I mean, we've been through, you know, many different catastrophes that we've all plugged ourselves to, like, you know, Sandy or Katrina or 9/11, but this one was a big one, and it really, really sharpened my focus. So I feel, yeah, rent, yeah, you know, employees, yeah, everything, but yeah, priorities, what's really important, and definitely people, community, everybody, just how the way they're dealing with each other. I think there's a lot of compassion, Charles. That's what's happening right now, in my opinion. Thanks.
Thanks so much. Erik and Peter, I want to make space for you if you have any last things to say before we wrap up.
No
need.
I guess my only yeah, I guess not to cut in, but my only take would be very similar to what others have said is just, it's good to be open and keep providing jobs. We've been very lucky that the only staff we haven't laid anybody off. We had some part-time college kids back in March and April go home. They left their jobs and I think went back from whence they came. But, as a local business with all of our full-timers being New York City and Brooklyn residents, we've been very lucky and we've worked very, very hard, at least personally as a family, to not have to let anybody off and made some big sacrifices on some projects and other things we were in the midst of doing when this pandemic kind of hit in order to keep everyone getting paid and operating as if untouched, if you will. And that has been a tremendous effort on my part. And I think the upper management here at Puerto Rico's part has been to give the illusion that everything is fine. You know what I mean? And I think that's probably what I see a lot of other business owners doing. And I think we should all really just be grateful that we have a resilient community around us of people that are willing to keep shopping, and keep living in the city. I think that's my main point is just if you're positive and you're nice to everyone, you sell a good product and you really believe in yourself, I think in the end of the day, it will be all right, but it takes a lot of hard work, especially for us, we're a small company, but we have a lot of full-timers, a lot of guys with families and a lot of guys whose partners probably lost their jobs. And we've kind of, as a family-owned business, taken on ourselves to not in the trope of treating your employees like family, but it is like that. I don't want to see anyone who's got kids, losing their job because we sell X amount less coffee, so we've done very, very well. And I think keeping our business operating as open as we can, even to the detriment of the aesthetics of the store. If you look, they're kind of almost hobbling pirate ships, but you do what you can. And that's just kind of what I think.
Oh, that's so wonderful, and I really appreciate that, and I think I think this has been so wonderful, and I'm so grateful to all of you for the community space that you provide through your stores and the services that you provide and the beauty and the delight. And I think, for us at Village Preservation and supporting small business, we just, we'll support you in whatever ways we can, including this. So everybody go shop online, drop into the shops safely if you can, and yeah, have safe and hopefully prosperous holidays to all of you. Yeah, thank you so much for everything and for your time, and take really good care.
Thank you so much, Ariel.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Have a good night.